This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Tim Hankewich from Orchestra Iowa. In as boy, picking him up and laying him down. You just did a concert this past weekend, and have another one coming this year, 2 weekends in a row.
Right, and it doesn't look like we're in Kansas anymore. So,
okay,
what could that possibly
by
be?
that, I think we can discern the topic. But before we do, congratulations
Thank you.
on a great concert over the weekend featuring Michael Dougherty and his tuba
Right.
concerto. It is always such a pleasure to have Michael back in town, one of the preeminent
Right.
composers in the world
Yep.
right now, and our own Cedar Rapids
Yeah,
native.
he's a really big deal in our town, and sometimes it's difficult to be a prophet in your own town because we take it for granted. Oh, there's Michael, or there's Tim, or there's the Dougherty brothers. They show up all the time, and I have to say, one of the things I appreciate most about Michael Dougherty, in addition to his genius as a composer, is he hasn't lost his roots. He hasn't forgotten where he comes from. He comes back all the time and really supports the arts, supports this community, and just to realize that he is literally one of the most preeminent living composers in the world, and he's from here. And so it's a real gas getting to work with him.
One of the nice things about being in Cedar Rapids.
Correct, of the many. Yep.
But that's in the past.
Sure.
We're moving on.
Moving on.
And this is the third or fourth kind of in your recent series of
Right.
taking a classic movie and playing a live score along with it. And as everyone has figured out, it's The Wizard of Oz.
Correct. Yes, this will be our third attempt at this. I shouldn't put it that way. This is our third concert of this. Last year we did Psycho, and the year before that we did Casablanca. And so we're doing The Wizard of Oz, which is very appropriate because it's sort of the golden age of Hollywood being performed and displayed in the Paramount Theatre, a building that was designed for grand cinema experience. And so what people who haven't been to these kind of programs in the past, we show the film in its entirety with dialogue, with everything. The only difference now is that the symphony is there to play the sound score in real time with the film.
And so you actually have a special audio mix of the film print.
Correct.
With the music out of it.
Correct. That's exactly how it works.
But there's a time cue that you can see.
So I'll let the audience in on a secret. I have to tell you, it's some of the most challenging things a conductor has to face because the film is immovable. It's going to go. And what I have in front of me is my own monitor with an old analog clock that just goes on a dial. And in the score, every 2 or 3 measures, there's a timestamp. So there are certain places where I have a cue to start the music. And I start with a tempo, and then every 3 measures, I'm looking to see how close I am to the clock. And so I'm making these micro tempo adjustments all the way through the film. And if I do my job well, everything will line up perfectly.
And it's got to be extra challenging for The Wizard of Oz because you are accompanying singers.
Correct.
Not something you had to do in, say, Psycho.
That is very true.
So when the Munchkins sing,
they're going to do their thing, and it's up to me to make sure we are with them.
you
Yes.
have to be there right with the Lollipop Guild.
Yes, and this music goes really, really quickly, and so timing is going to be a real challenge. But the thing is, that's up to me, the conductor, not the orchestra. I mean, so the orchestra just has to play their part, but I'm putting it together with the film.
So this is difficult enough to
Right.
do with with any kind of music to stay
Sure.
on tempo. But what if the score is difficult? Tell me, Tim, is the Wizard of Oz score just kind of your average, easy to play, early
Yeah.
20th century symphonic score, or
Yeah.
is it maybe kind of difficult?
For the last 3 weeks, I've been waking up in the fetal position. This is a hard score by any standard. What's interesting is there are the regular numbers that are part of the musical that a lot of people do, like Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, or Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Those are straight ahead. It's the connective tissue that gives the emotional underpinning between these numbers, and it's nonstop playing. I mean, the film itself is about an hour and 40 minutes, and I think the orchestra is playing an hour and 35 of it. And it's the connective stuff that happens that is so challenging. But so I've been watching this movie in preparation about 2 times a day, 3 times a day. And because I get to see the score, there are subtle things that are happening musically that are lost on everybody that is just sheer genius. For example, everybody has their motive. I mean, we know that John Williams was noted for giving every one of his characters a theme, like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and all that. This was standard practice back in the 30s. and 40s. And so for those of you who remember the film, the black and white portion at the very beginning, when you're just starting to meet all the characters before they are reprised in the Land of Oz, there are subtle quotations of their themes that will reappear later in the score and later in the film when when you're the Cowardly Lion or the Wizard of Oz himself and the like. It is just an absolute brilliant score.
Sometimes for the musicians at a concert like this, it's an easy night. The music is not that difficult, but sounds to me like you're going to test the mettle of your orchestra.
Oh yeah, this. They've got their work cut out for them, and it's put together at such a small timeline. We have a rehearsal. We had a rehearsal last night.
Well, because you were working on last week's concert.
That's right.
Last week.
That's right. And then we had a rehearsal last night. We have a rehearsal tonight, and then that's it. We're ready to go. And this is really advanced stuff. And so yes, it puts us through its paces, but it's also like keeping a thoroughbred in shape. You got to put difficult red meat in front of them, and that'll keep them going.
It's Wizard of Oz. Now, sometimes in the past you've only done this one night, but people will have two chances at this.
Right. I mean, this is such a popular work and a popular movie, so it's selling really, really well. So you have two chances to hear this tomorrow night on Friday at 7:30, and then again at 7:30 on Saturday in the Paramount Theatre.
Okay, and tickets are available at?
Usually the same place, 1-800-369-TUNE, or you can get it online at artsiowa.com or orchestraiowa.org. Or you can walk in and talk to a person.
And actually look at your seat right there and get a ticket on the spot.
Right.
Well, Tim, sounds like a blast.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is one a lot of us have been looking forward to, an iconic movie, iconic orchestra.
Yep.
And great fun, Friday and Saturday at the Paramount Theatre. Thanks for being here.
We'll see you all there. Thank you.
artsiowa.com for tickets if you'd like to see The Wizard of Oz with live orchestra accompaniment. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule using your favorite podcast app or at kcck.org/culture. I'm Dennis Green.